You hear about that one?
Well, there was certain
Downing Street didn't seem very concerned with
there
COVID.
was a
There
long debate about people dying of COVID or with COVID. I know all that, but the bottom line for me, it is indisputable that COVID was a deadly...
Why is he debating this? He's debating this for his allegiance to the radical left-wing party that allows him to exist, that allows him to operate.
Pandemic that killed a lot of people.
Who signs your checks? Who signs your checks, Piers?
It turned out a lot of older people more than young people. But they didn't know that.
and then, dude, I'm laughing just thinking about how many young men that are gonna watch this and laugh. Just think about how absurd this is, and then the positive feedback loop of emotional triggerdom that the leftists are gonna feel when they realize that the young men aren't taking them seriously at all. It's amazing. It's so good.
Time, not for a long period. The vaccine saved millions of people's lives. There are legitimate questions about some of the boosters, about some of the side effects of the vaccines.
They're still under the impression they're the arbiters of what people think or people's opinions. He's talking as if he's being the mild one, bringing truth and reason. No. We've rejected you. We've rejected you and your ideology. Everything you're saying is leftist propaganda. We don't care. You're making a fool of yourself.
As there are, by the way, with all vaccines. But the idea that COVID is some invention by the Matrix to suppress and control its people is for the birds, Andrew. It's for the birds.
It seems the birds and I are friends.
Yeah, okay, let's compare you. Bro, let's compare you and Andrew Tate right now. Let's compare you guys. Who would young men rather be like? Someone who is enslaved to Matrix propaganda or someone who is excellent in every metric of human achievement?
Actually believes that.
Of course I
And that's one of my problems.
believe that.
One of my problems I have with you is that I think you are intelligent, but I think you also adopt positions that you...
Again, he's speaking as if he's the arbiter of some sort of reasonable opinion. You realize that people watching this are going to mock you forever now because of the level of cowardice you just displayed.
know are going to get the anti-Matrix mob inflamed. And it's just these all-encompassing views you have. COVID was a load of nonsense. Vaccines are all dangerous and killing more people than they say.
Never said that. I said the COVID vaccine.
Well, COVID vaccine, well, you don't think they worked?
No, of course not, because the idea of
Of course
the
they
vaccine,
worked.
the word vaccine in and of itself.
Look at the infuriated Matrix agent getting angry.
Is that you
They
get
saved millions of lives.
It saved millions of lives. Repeat the line quick. No one's listening.
you get a vaccine, you do not get the disease. They changed the definition of vaccine in the dictionary so they could continue to inject us with this pointless poison. I had the vaccine for polio. I've never had polio. You got the vaccine for COVID, and you're bragging online how you have COVID for the 8th time, but it's not that bad because you've had 6 injections. It's insane.
The UK.
If you think lockdowns worked, Piers, if you think lockdowns...
I think lockdowns were only...
This is. I'm reminded of Elon Musk saying this is the reason why people shouldn't live forever, because there are humans like this who really can only just die out in order to have their opinions replaced. Because at this point, any person that is pro-COVID lockdowns is admitting that they're lobotomized. I don't even have to go into it. They're admitting that they don't have their faculties.
Then there was no justification for further lockdowns.
You're a very important person, and you're very well respected.
I'm not
within
important, I'm a journalist.
No, you're very important, and you're very well respected within the UK, and you've been famous for a very long time. Were you invited to the party at Downing Street, or were you not in that circle?
No.
No? Well, that's a shame.
And I thought the behavior...
Because they seemed very concerned about COVID on the TV,
And by the way,
they didn't seem to give a shit as soon as the TV was on.
I thought that was disgraceful, and I thought Boris Johnson...
I'm so glad we threw these pathetic losers tea into the harbor. Fuck you, Piers, and your British accent. Dude, no one gives a fuck. Dude, imagine if the British Empire was still, encompassing the entire world, how destroyed everything would be. Dude, this type of pathetic cuckery, I've heard from one of my relatives that they outlawed owning baseball bats in England unless you can prove you have a baseball. That's how cucked and feminized they've become. And now you're seeing with Piers. Dude, this is some low testosterone shit right here, bro. This is disgusting.
And the people working at Number 10 who were having those parties, when I had friends of mine who were literally saying goodbye to their mothers on FaceTime on their phone because they weren't allowed in to see them. I knew people in care homes where it ripped through and killed a third of the people in the home in 2 weeks. And the desperation that people felt. I had a cousin who lost his father who couldn't go and see his dying wife and so on.
It's disgusting.
There were terrible stories.
It's criminal.
Terrible stories.
It's disgusting. So let me ask you a question as a professional, because we're both adults, we're both very smart. As a professional, which is more likely? That the government believed COVID was deadly and everybody should be truthfully afraid and locked in their houses, but because they had this spirit inside of them and they couldn't resist the idea of a party, decided to risk their lives to party, or they lied on the television trying to scare everyone and enslave them and lock them in their houses, knowing it's garbage, knowing it's a lie, and not caring, and had a party behind everyone's backs so they didn't think they'd get caught. Which one is more likely as a professional, as a logical human?
Why don't we just agree that they were a bunch of rank hypocrites?
Matrix agent.
Utterly selfishly, to the extent that the Queen, when her husband, Prince Philip, dies, is in the church.
No one cares about your Prince, Queen, Philip, whatever. No one gives a shit. What are you talking about, dude?
It turned out the night before, down the
No
street,
one
had
cares.
2 parties. We can agree on that,
We
right?
can agree on that, and we can wake up.
You didn't answer the question, you moron.
Start to realize, oh, maybe the government doesn't care about us. Maybe the government lies to us. Maybe they tell us things and try and scare us, but they don't actually care themselves. Maybe all they are is hypocritical, self-interested people.
Maybe they are.
Maybe they use the MSM to purport their lies to keep everybody enslaved.
Oh, you sweaty now? Oh, because you're part of the MSM, aren't you? BBC garbage.
Well, they do. If you're as big as I was, the most Googled man on the planet telling the truth, you will pay the price, Piers. And that is why I was locked in that cell. And I do not regret it, because I live true to God. I'm not going to sit here as a coward and not tell the truth to people for as long as I live until they put a bullet in my head.
Let me ask you about the lover boy method. So the suggestion is that you and your brother and others.
Oh no! Oh no, dude! You've just demonstrated that you're an agent of the Matrix, and now you're going to talk about the lover boy method.
But let's talk about you.
When you say that you love a woman, that's lover boy method, by the way.
That you deploy the lover boy method, where you would make women fall in love with you. You would then persuade them to do webcam stuff, right?
TikTok.
Okay, but wait, let's call it webcam stuff, right?
No, it's not
No.
called that. The indictment
Why would you call you moron? No, it's TikTok.
is about TikTok.
Okay, what would you make the women do? Or what would they do with you?
I don't make anybody do anything.
Okay.
In fact, let's talk about the lover boy method. So it's
Yeah.
very interesting. Let's imagine the Matrix is pissed off with a said individual who's telling too much truth and everybody is listening to him, and they decide they're going to attack him with sexual assault claims. They say, he's making women do, well, we found conversations
They
with...
pervert the truth. What they do is they can only pervert. They see that the most beautiful feminine women in the world are attracted to him, which enrages them, by the way. And so what do? They pervert that. They say that love isn't real because they're infuriated by it. They're enraged by that adoration supermodels have for Andrew Tate. And so they invert it. They say, no, that can't possibly be true because I'm fat and my wife of 35 years doesn't even want to sleep with me anymore. And Andrew Tate is adored by multiple supermodels. Oh my gosh, I can't stand this. Quickly say the supermodels don't love him. They can't possibly love him. No, quickly. They pervert the reality of the situation because the truth judges them. They're not just coming up with random lies. The lies have architecture. The lies have the symmetry of their brokenness built in.
Advice on how to go viral on TikTok. He's making women do TikTok, but he isn't being horrible to them. He's not hitting them. He's not being mean to them. So what can we do? Let's use the loverboy method. You know what loverboy method means? Being nice. He was nice and polite and kind, and they really liked him as a person, and he told them.
That's literally what it means. The loverboy method is when women fall in love with you and then do what you say because they're in love with you. So if you've ever caused a woman to fall in love with you, which is, if you're a part of the Matrix, it's very unlikely. But if you're not, and a woman's ever been in love with you and she did what you wanted, you engaged in human trafficking, by the way. See, they attack masculinity. A truly masculine man is going to have many, many women in love with him across his life. And so they want to attack that. They want to demonize that. It's exactly in keeping with their agenda to feminize society.
A loving relationship until they can be
That's literally what he just said.
forced into abusive situations or a form of slavery.
This is
A form of slavery? See, they want to pervert the relationship Andrew Tate has with supermodels. They can't stand the fact that the supermodels love him. So they have to say, they don't truly love him. They're enslaved by him. That's it. They don't really want to be there because if they do, then our lives have been a waste, which of course they have been. Quickly lie.
garbage.
That's actually what it means.
The loverboy method is being nice to people so that you work together, effectively what they're trying to say here. I was nice to girls who asked me for TikTok advice, and they sang us the loverboy method. I didn't beat them into doing TikTok. I didn't force them. I didn't threaten them. In fact, I was like, yeah, you're very pretty. You can be pretty famous.
Was there
You can do
any
well."
element of coercion?
How can there be an element? What does that even mean? Let's be professionals here. What does that even mean?
He's not a professional. He just demonstrated that he He's literally a cuck.
What do you think coercion means?
I was coerced into this interview. You came along to me and said...
You weren't coerced into this interview.
Yes, I was.
Or don't tell me. The bullying
Piers.
MSM said, Andrew, you've got to do an interview.
No,
and I'm going to fly all the way to Romania to do it.
You didn't
me
do
a
that.
favour.
You used the lover boy method. You said, sir...
The lover boy method?
Yep. Andrew, this is going to be a very interesting interview. We had a good one last time. You're a nice guy. We have some interesting conversations.
I didn't say you were a nice
I'm going
guy.
to come along.
Wait a minute.
We're going to make some money from this interview.
Wait a minute.
You lover boyed me and you stole the profit.
Wait, just to be clear, I've had no conversation with you about this interview. And the conversations I've had with your intermediary were very professional. And I said, I would like to do an interview with you.
Were you nice?
I'm always nice.
Lover boy. You can't believe you used niceness to lover boy me because this is a profitable enterprise and I was coerced here.
I make no pretense that I've come all the way from London to Romania to
Correct.
interview you.
This is exactly what you should do. This is exactly how you own them. Oh my god, no, I'm a victim. What do you mean? No, I'm a victim. It's how you beat them, and it's how you beat them at their own game and also show the absurdity of the claims that Marxism makes. No, you're not the victim. I'm the victim.
Yes, I want to do it on my show, and that will clearly benefit me and my show.
Am I a full-grown consenting adult who
And Piers is going along with it like he doesn't get it.
decided
the
to do this
idea,
show?
yeah, but you're not being coerced into doing
Am I a
this.
full-grown consenting adult who decided to do this show?
Yes.
Okay, so I wasn't coerced, correct?
But what's that got to do with what I've asked you?
Because you were nice to me and you're saying that...
I wasn't
that's
nice to you. I didn't even talk to you.
Being nice is the lover boy method and that
Andrew,
adults have no
Andrew,
personal
I wasn't-
responsibility
I
and that
wasn't
you're nice
nice-
to someone, they become your slave.
I wasn't nice to you, and I didn't call you a nice...
They can't stand the fact that supermodels love Andrew Tate. That's what it comes down to when they throw this false accusation. If it had been something else, they would have perverted that.
guy.
I feel lover boy.
I had a website, Hustlers University, offering courses teaching husbands and boyfriends how to get their partners into
Absolutely.
webcams.
Husbands and boyfriends? What? Bro. Okay. I'm not a part of Hustlers University, by the way, but I know what it's about and I know what it offers. And it's not for, dude. The Matrix is all they do lie. What am I even saying? Of course, that's all they do, bro. Moving on.
The Hustlers University, which you can go to now, actually, we've changed the domain, it's university.com, is a school which teaches modern wealth creation methods. We teach people how to make websites, we teach people e-com.
Why did you call it a PhD pimping hose degree?
No, you're talking about an old video which was made satirically.
Why did you call it that?
Dude, these people that didn't follow Andrew Tate 3 years ago aren't privy to all of his inside jokes. That's literally a joke he's been telling for years.
Oh, that was satire.
Of course it was. 9 years ago, the internet...
Bro, most of his clips are comedy. That's what his clips are.
It was a very different place. And if you're going to sit here and say, oh, 9 years ago you said stupid things on the internet, it's not a gotcha moment because every single person has. So have you.
No, but you'd be very...
So have you because you advocated for the vaccine, sir. So that's how things go. It's satirical. I also said I'm an astronaut. Do you believe I've been to the moon? Because I haven't, believe it or not. Hustlers University teaches children how to make websites, and it's.
There's only one reason I'm asking you.
Advice.
Only reason I'm asking you. You've repeatedly said in interviews since you were arrested that you have never categorized yourself as a pimp. You don't think you're a pimp, right?
Well, what about all the rappers? Did you ask?
Dude, that was a concept made up by the Matrix. Andrew Tate never seriously referred to himself as a pimp. Only in like joking moments like the PhD, inside joke. The reason again that the Matrix made up that lie is because they can't stand the reality that beautiful women out of their league find Andrew Tate attractive. They can't stand that women, in their DNA, despite all of their programming to hate men and hate the patriarchy, that women still find unapologetic, masculine performance attractive.
Of course I've not been a pimp. I've said I'm a pimp. I've said I'm an astronaut. I've said I'm a cowboy. I've said I'm the strongest man in the world. I've said I'm James Bond. Throw me in jail.
Dude, the Matrix is literally too stupid to play on our level. They try to invert and pervert every single aspect of reality, but the problem is they can't tell what's reality and what's not reality because they're too stupid.
Are you just...
Put me in jail.
Okay.
I deserve it. 9 years ago I made a joke on the internet.
So here's my question. Are you a fantasist?
I'm not a fantasist.
What is that? A fantasist?
Do you have a persona that's just not you?
Of course not. I am me.
Well, if you are
What type of question is that? Are you not you? What?
you, why would you repeatedly call yourself a pimp and then now say you never...
There's a thing, Piers. This might be very strange for your British tea-sipping sensibilities, but it's called a joke. You kind of outlawed them in your country, but the rest of the world has them still.
Are you going to sit here and say that because I've once said, oh...
I'm curious whether if you're trying to say to me you didn't mean any of the things you said. So I'm asking
What? No. Okay, again. Jokes are jokes. Seriousness is seriousness. When he says that he's an astronaut, do you think he's being serious? Let's be real.
So, well, why?
And there, by the way, there's like dozens more. There are dozens more of inside jokes that people that follow Andrew Tate know about. You know, yoga fire, just to name one. You really think he can shoot fire from his hands, bro? Or is that a joke?
Why should I believe anything you say now? In other words, is what you say actually what you mean? Is Andrew Tate real? Or do you have a complete persona that you've fueled for money that has nothing to do with the real you? I don't know. You tell me.
I exaggerated on the internet 9 years ago for comedic effect. I'd walk into a nightclub and there'd be girls at my table, like every other man who walks into a nightclub, and I'd say, pimpin'. Oh no, put me in jail. 93 days was not enough with the cockroaches. I should go back. And every single man out there has done things worse than I've done. In fact, I will argue, if you put 99.9% of men through the level of scrutiny I've been through by multiple federal agencies, you will find a lot worse than him saying he was a pimp on the internet 9 years ago. You will find actual genuine crime. And I've done nothing. I live true to God. This is all garbage and it's not real.